What's your favorite scary movie?
Be like, I'm dying.
If some guy came up to me and said, "Hey, they guys," I'm like, "It's over and done. We're married now."
Someone in the movie, so I'm like, kiss. But
Oh God, what a sea of humanity.
What's up? I was trying to scare you. Did it work? Did it work? Right. Well, welcome into 52. I can't. Welcome into 52/1994, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1994. I am your host, Cody, and I'm joined by my co-host this week, Leon, the Joe Fashional himself, Joseph, my pride and joy, my baby boy, my good time boy. If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We are so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up on what we do here, we're watching movies from the year 1994, important movies released this year, and we typically do those in monthly categories. Doesn't matter if they're good, doesn't matter if they're bad, it doesn't matter if the host has a mustache. We still talk about all these movies.
I think it does matter some. I think it's
You
an
think it
important thing to point out.
I hate it. I hate my life. Then I have a guest to talk about the movie with, and then I'll see if they've been watching anything or reading anything, or if they're just been getting into anything crazy lately. So that's what we do here. And this month, actually, we've been talking about action movies. And this month, this week, sorry, we're talking about Leon the Professional, movie from 1994 that I didn't think was controversial at the time, but now maybe there might be some stuff to it, and I felt maybe the mustache is fitting. I don't know. Joe, how are you? Let's talk.
I'm good.
Let's talk
I'm
about you.
good. I'm mustacheless, but
We should
some
all
must-
grow them. I think this is a great idea.
summer stash.
Yeah, I think I could get it. I think I could get everybody to do it.
You're
Yeah,
starting it, man.
starting a
Or
trend.
wait, are you starting it though? I don't know.
Maybe. No, I'm definitely not starting the trend at all. When I got this, my barber said, "You look like you could write me a ticket."
Oh,
I said, "Thanks."
I'd like to also point out that chat called you Nigel Thornberry. I think that's a
Wow, I missed that. Nigel Thornberry. I wish I could do. Uh, I wish I could do that voice. Joe, how you been, man? You had a busy week. You had a good week. You watching movies? What are you doing?
I'm I guess I did watch a decent amount of movies this week. I don't know about many that are recommendable. I guess
In there.
we'll get to that, but let's see. I watched Inside Out, the first Inside Out, in preparation to hopefully see the second one sometime this coming week.
And you haven't watched Inside Out 2 yet.
Haven't watched the second one yet.
That's
Coming
okay.
soon, hopefully.
We'll talk about the other movies.
It's pretty much the same movie that we're talking about right
Yeah,
now, right?
yeah,
So.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Hey, what's playing on your VCR behind you?
That is The Professional.
No.
Yeah,
Cool.
the very beginning of the movie. You can kind of see it pretty clear. Like it's not too bad. It's kind of a cool cover too, because it's got Jean Reno with his sunglasses on, and like the sunglasses are like very shiny on the cover of the VHS. So pretty cool, pretty cool. It also is it's the one that's just called The Professional, which is what I grew up knowing it as. I never knew it as Leon the Professional. I always knew it as The Professional.
Is that like a American versus European thing?
I think so. And then I think I don't know when it changed. I tried to find some stuff on it about like when they started calling it Leon the Professional, because I think foreign wise it was just called Leon. So who knows?
Weird.
Had you seen this movie before?
I have, yeah. So I've seen it one time before, and coming into this year, I thought this would maybe be my favorite of the year, just based on my memory.
Mhm.
Probably not in that same headspace anymore. But it was still. I'm glad I rewatched it.
Yeah. Same. I was looking at my letterbox, and Spencer had reminded, he was like, "Holy crap, you gave this movie a huge rating." I had this movie at a 4.5 before I even watched this movie, and that was basing that solely off of like memory. I hadn't seen this movie in over 20 years probably, and I was like, this movie's kick ass. Like, it is the best thing. I remember that loving this movie so much, and I was very excited to watch it. But then like the closer we got to this week, I was like reading up on it and stuff, and then I was like, oh, there's a little bit more into this that I did not
Yeah,
that I did. I mean, I loved this movie when I was in high school. That's when I watched it, was in high school.
I think it was probably early college for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
It's a good solid action movie. I mean, I'm eager to
Yeah.
see what you think though. Uh,
There's some action, all right.
there's some action. There's some action. And hopefully you watched the same version I did.
So I watched the Netflix version,
Okay.
whatever that is. But I did go and watch all the scenes that were not in the Netflix version too.
I
just for
can't wait for you
context.
to tell us
Yeah.
all about those.
So yeah,
I'm very
dripping
excited.
with details over here.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to talk about those and me not to say anything. No, I wanted to watch whoever's Spencer mad in the chat. Get over yourself. I want to watch the original 1994, no director's cut, no whatever's in there. I wanted the original because that's what came out and that's what I remembered. So we're not trying to get down in the director cut version of this. But let's go ahead and introduce this movie. Again, it's called Leon the Professional. It came out September 14th, 1994. It was directed and written by Luc Besson. Most people probably know his work from like The Fifth Element, or maybe you know of him from Valerian and the Planet of a Thousand Planets, or whatever that movie was. No, not so much.
Not me.
I'm sorry, I can't breathe. um okay, so this movie written, directed by Luc Besson. He's French. That's important. The cast includes Jean Reno as Leon, Natalie Portman in her first movie role as Matilda Lando, Gary Oldman as Norman Stansfield, Danny Aiello as Tony, Michael Badalucco as Matilda's father, and Ellen Green, who I did not recognize until I read her name, playing Matilda's stepmother, Margie, in this movie. Ellen Green is probably most famous for being Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. She was unrecognizable in this movie to me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So only a few years after. And yeah, so that one threw me off, but she's barely in the movie. I mean, she gets killed super quick. Let me give you the synopsis that I got from Google. Never read this before, so hopefully there's nothing weird or creepy in it. Matilda is only 12 years old. Great start. But is already familiar with the dark side of life. Her abusive father stores drugs for corrupt police officers, and her mother neglects her. Leon, who lives down the hall, tends to his houseplants and works as a hired hitman for mobster Tony. When her family is murdered by crooked DEA agent Stansfield, Matilda joins forces with a reluctant Leon to learn his deadly trade and avenge her family's deaths.
That was a
Good.
very positive spin.
I know. I like that. This movie had a budget of $16 million and a box office return of $45.3 million. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 74%. IMDb has this at an 8.5 out of 10, which is very high for IMDb. And Letterboxd has it at a 4.0, which is very high for that as well. Roger Ebert gave this kind of a middle score. He didn't really love it, but he said, but in what is essentially an exercise, a slick urban thriller, it seems to exploit the youth of a girl without really dealing with it. He gave it 2.5 stars out of 4. And then Lisa Schwartzbaum of Entertainment Weekly loved this movie. There's a lot that's rough and out of control in The Professional. Aiello is low on energy, while Oldman indulges in a performance so operatically unhinged, you'd think the actor was galloping toward the playing fields of Mickey Rourke. But there's even more that crackles here in an enjoyable homage to the city that never sleeps. She must be a New Yorker or something. She really emphasized and loved the fact that this was a New York movie. Never felt like a New York movie to me,
No.
to be honest with you. So yeah, there's some different spins on reviews there. Some legacy to talk about with this movie. There was a script for a sequel called Just Matilda, but it never happened. And actually, 2011's Columbiana, starring Zoe Saldana, uses a lot of that script, also done by Luc Besson. There is an extended version. That is what Joseph has looked at for us research wise, and it includes 25 more minutes, including more relationship stuff and the fact that she went on several kills with Leon. These extra minutes really tested poorly with audiences, so they cut them out, rightfully so. I'm sure.
I think I saw 25 minutes, so maybe I still missed some, but
Maybe
it was probably more like 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe it was longer than, I don't know. Anyways,
who knows? But let's break it down and let's talk about some of the scenes that we really liked that stood out to us. I'll let you go first.
all right. I mean, the first, I guess, big scene for me was like the whole not showdown, that's not the right word. When the DEA cops came to the family and all that went down with that.
It's pretty great. Like that opening, so that's not the opening hit, but Matilda's family is what you're talking about.
Yeah, Matilda's family.
Yeah.
And they like show up to
this movie kind of just hits the ground running, honestly. There's not a lot of downtime in this movie because I think it's, what is it, like 110 minutes? So a little under 2 hours. A little under 2 hours, but yeah, when Stansfield is visiting her family and like the dad is hiding drugs, but the drugs aren't pure, like it's not 100%, I guess is why he's mad.
Yeah, it seemed like he because they found a bag, so I'm guessing he like took that amount out of the full stash and cut it with whatever they cut it with, sugar or I don't know.
More than I.
Yeah, diluted it down to 90%. So I guess there were 10 bags and he stole one. I don't know. That's what it seems
silly.
Like.
Seems really silly. But we don't know they're cops yet, right?
Not
okay.
Yeah, it was very unclear for a while. But like they mentioned that they're cops, still like the old lady neighbor or something at one point. But then he like shoots at her, so you didn't know if they were telling the truth.
Bizarre. I forgot about that. Leave that poor family alone. He just shoots straight at her.
Shoots at her door. It's like, it's okay, we're cops. Everything's fine over here. And then he shoots at her. So I was like, I don't know if you are cops, but they really were.
And I guess it's cool because they just like stand outside and the dead bodies are just laying everywhere, and they're just like, yeah, it's a crime scene. We're cool here.
Yeah.
But what's your initial thoughts on Stansfield for these opening scenes?
Wildest Gary since oh man, what was the 93 movie?
True Romance?
True Romance, yeah. That's Wildest Gary since True Romance.
I felt like Gary Oldman should have continued doing these insane roles for ever.
He's kind of a really good crazy guy. And this one was like a little more controlled, I guess, not like you could tell there was a lot unhinged up here, but it was kind of more calculated.
Yeah. We get so I'll go in. I'll see where it starts here, but he does have a good run here of movies. So he plays Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK. He plays Dracula in the Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Everybody should go see that movie. It's insane. He plays Drexel in True Romance. Stansfield and Leon the Professional. He plays Beethoven this year in a Mortal Beloved. Same thing, which is interesting because he talks about. And then he's in the Fifth Element as the bad guy in that movie. He's insane in that movie. Air Force One, he's the bad guy in that movie, and then he kind of just slows down. And then in 2001, I don't know if you remember. Have you ever watched the movie Hannibal?
Yeah, I
He's
don't
like
remember him.
Mason Verger. He's like disfigured, and like it's one that I think Hannibal ate his face and left him disfigured. And that's his character. You should look it up. Look up the picture of it.
Wow.
It's crazy. So Gary Oldman's always kind of played some crazy roles in these
Before his
films.
Commissioner Gordon days.
Yeah, before he kind of calmed down. Oh, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the movie Tiptoes, but that's an insane movie too. He plays a little person in that movie.
Tiptoes?
Tiptoes. Crazy movie. It's probably on Tubi right now. I guarantee it.
There's the Tubi plug for everybody.
Tubi plug. I'm not sponsored. Tubi, sponsor me. Yeah, and then he, does Harry Potter and all that stuff. Blah, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of gets boring. We don't get any crazy roles for a while.
He got old, man,
I guess you get old, you stop playing crazy. It's whatever. But yeah, so Matilda's whole family gets killed while she's out getting groceries. This little boy gets killed.
He was the worst one. Because we didn't, I mean, everybody else in the family had already kind of displayed that they were maybe assholes in some capacity or another. But the boy was just like, came up to her and gave her a hug. I don't even think he said anything.
No.
Just like, oh, he was the good one. Maybe. Yeah, it was bad.
And I'm sorry, I didn't get you the old man joke. I should have laughed. I'm very sorry.
What?
I apologize. You're very funny. I'm an idiot.
It's okay.
It's all right. Spencer told me a joke earlier today. It took me at least like 2 minutes where I was like, that's what he was talking about. So I'm not on a good spot today. Anyway. Trying to think of anything else. What else? Oh, in the scene though, so with Stansfield kind of just going crazy and just shooting up this place and shooting the sister and the mom in the bathtub. I thought that one was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, especially when they came back to it and showed like the back of the bathtub. It was just like
she doesn't even realize. Like she's the one that doesn't even know what's going on. She's
she
just
had
killing.
Headphones on?
She had headphones on, and she just gets blown away. So maybe she got it the best out of everybody.
Maybe.
Because she didn't know.
She wasn't a real mom anyways, so it doesn't matter.
She wasn't even a stepmom that stepped up. She's not a mom that stepped up.
She's basically there, but not,
Yeah. But
what is this pill that this guy keeps taking?
Oh, I did look this up.
Weird,
the pill that he takes, and then he like cracks his neck.
Like he was trying to keep from turning into, Dr. Jekyll or something.
Whatever. Yeah, it was really weird. So the green and yellow capsules are Librium, and where did I just lost it?
Now, didn't you?
No, it's Librium, a sedative and hypnotic medication of the benzo class. It is used to treat anxiety, insomnia, and withdrawal symptoms from alcohol or drug abuse. So that's what
so probably that last one.
Yeah, probably. or to treat his insomnia. Maybe he's got insomnia.
Hmm.
But the
We
dude
never see him
loves
sleep in the movie, do we?
no. But the dude loves him some classical music. Loves him some Beethoven.
Getting ready for his next role.
That's right. But then
He did have some good
Matilda,
lines there.
yeah, I love the lines. No, when Matilda, I don't know for you, but for me, I really like when Matilda returns in the scene, and then she walks over to Leon's door, and it's just like crying.
It's the best
And
acting in the movie.
oh my God, yeah, she's incredible. She's crying and begging Leon to open the door, and Leon's like, I don't want to get involved in this shit.
Right.
Reluctantly lets her in, but he does let her in, and that starts us off on this movie. Let's see what else. What's
buddy cop?
buddy cop? That's what I like. I like that. I like
This is
that
buddy
way
cop
better.
genre, right?
This is a buddy cop movie. What other scene popped out to you?
Let's see. After that, I think I jumped down to like, I guess the training when they started like, and I don't think there was as much of this in the normal version as I did see quite a bit, like you mentioned in the extra scenes of like the actual like her going on hits with him and stuff, and like them talking more about her becoming a cleaner.
Yeah, I think I would have. I don't know. You watched the footage. I kind of don't think I would have minded that a little bit. Like, I mean, it's weird that he's taking a 12-year-old girl, but she's gonna do it anyway. I feel like she wants revenge on this guy as bad as possible, and she wants to learn how to do this stuff quick and easy and to kill somebody. Like, at least he's making it safe for her, teaching her how to do it. But
Yeah,
you watch the scenes, so
there was definitely some of them I felt like I wish they would have stayed in, but there were some that I was like, I can see why this did not test well, especially with American audiences. Like some of the most like sexualized lines and shots were like part of those, in my opinion. So there's several references to her like lying, saying she's 18 when like she's clearly not. And throughout those scenes, to both Leon and he takes her to like Tony at one point. It's like, she's coming with me on this assignment. He's like, how old is she? They're both like, she's 18. So I was like, okay. He's kind of running with that at this point, at least when he's talking to people. So I think that took it in like a weird, this
yeah.
is more okay sexually road. So, but there was some like cool like moments where like they did like a whole montage where they had like a system for hits that he was taking her on, where they put gum over the peephole, ring the doorbell. She would like say, oh, I'm so and so, it's really dark out here and I'm scared, because they covered up the peephole. And then he would be waiting with like bolt cutters when they opened the door with like the chain, to just crack it and see who it is. He would immediately like snap the chain, and then they would be in, and like that was their move. So
that's kind of cool. See, that's what I would have wanted, like a montage of all this stuff, like her learning. Okay, like because he even says, he's like, the rifle is the first thing you learn because it's the farthest away, it's the easiest thing, and then like working his way up to the knife, like that would have been cool.
But we never got that.
No, we never
we
got
just got
that.
the rifle. Yeah, and
which was
so
insane.
there was some cool stuff.
And she's like, can we use real bullets next time? I was like, Jesus, we're just killing random people?
Too soon.
Too soon.
He's wild.
And
so
then,
that was cool. But there was like some of that training and like them living together that I guess was my next like scene. Like she was, like cleaning up around the house, helping with the plant, pouring the milk.
oh yeah,
all the important things.
I don't know why the milk makes it just weird.
I think I counted. Oh, I got a tally, but I didn't actually listen. I think I got 13 and a half full glasses of milk throughout the movie. The front end was very milk heavy, not as many like down the stretch, but
Super milky, this
Yeah.
movie.
weird. But is he's did they say where he's from? Like originally
Who?
before he moved to the States?
I think I don't think they said ever
Like, specifically?
specified,
Okay. I was just
but
wondering.
he's obviously French, right? I mean, I know Jean Reno is French, but
Right.
I
I was
do
just
think
thinking
they
maybe he came from somewhere that really loves milk, you know?
wait. He does tell her about the girl, right? That he was married to.
That was in like one of the scenes too. That the little backstory about the woman he loved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
don't
there might.
remember them saying where though.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I just figure with his fascination with um, G- Gene Kelly that he might have been from France. I feel like French people love Gene Kelly from An American in Paris, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to say he's
Final answer, French.
French. Final answer.
French people must love milk.
Yeah, but it was a little confusing because then they were talking about um, he works with Tony, the Italian. He's like, oh, so this Italian hitman or whatever, and it just made me wonder if they think that he's Italian
Yeah.
because he's
Just
got
like
a weird
lumped him
accent
in
and
with
that they're just stupid.
darker skin equals Italian automatically, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was
Very
weird.
weird.
There were a few weird things, for sure. Beyond all the obvious weird.
This movie's completely normal and should be taken.
Isn't it? Okay.
Is it?
Cool.
No. I thought we would get a little bit more to the guy that the guy that she did shoot in the park.
Oh, the random jogger. Yeah, they kind of set him up like he was going to be something.
Yeah, like an actual hit at some point in this movie, and they never really tackled that at all. So
I think they just tried to make him as like male douchey as possible.
so that if she, when she does pull the trigger on him and she's not killing an actual person, and then they're like, tricked you didn't actually kill this guy.
Paintball.
Paintball.
Yeah, paintball.
From that far,
she crushed it. One shot, man.
one shot.
She's a natural.
Just call her a professional.
Call her a natural born killer.
What? Oh, call back. No, but that's the only time. I feel like that's the only thing we get to see of her training, right?
Other than like cleaning guns, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the cleaning gun. Cleaning guns always looks really cool to me, and it's like a puzzle that you have to put back together. I think I'd be into that. Not actually shooting the guns, but just cleaning.
Maybe you could be like a Craigslist gun cleaner. You ever think about that?
I don't want to put anything on Craigslist where I'm related to guns at all. That seems.
I'll write the ad for you. We'll
Okay,
talk about it later.
thank you.
I got you.
I do wet work.
I clean your cleaner.
Have you ever seen Horrible Bosses?
Yes.
They ask for somebody that does wet work because they think that sounds like a profession, like a hitman thing, and he actually ends up just being a guy that likes to pee on people.
You got it. I'll help you out with the Craigslist codes. You gotta
Thank
make sure
you.
we get the right link.
Craigslist gun cleaner. That's a cool nickname. The Craigslist gun cleaner.
Resume booster. Oh, with the stash, bro.
Little known fact.
Gonna be a documentary about you.
Little known fact: my wife found her first roommate via Craigslist. That's crazy.
Don't like that.
Don't like that.
Would not recommend.
I don't know why. I'm not a Craigslist person. I think it's the way it looks. I don't know how she's not dead. I don't know, man. All right, give me your next one.
Next one. After that, I guess would be I kind of smushed together her visiting the crime scene where her family got murdered, and her like plotting her little revenge moment together. So she like goes home, and of course, like we don't know how much time has passed, but it's still roped off, so it's got to
Yeah.
be kind of recent, right? There's chalk
Yeah,
outline on the floor.
I do think that it happens all fairly quickly.
Yeah, she goes to get her teddy bear or
And some
rabbit or
clothes because she's wearing the same freaking outfit for the
sure,
first like week,
yeah,
which is gross.
and money in the floor. Yeah, there was a big sack of money in the floor
Yeah.
that she grabbed, of course. But then the bad guys obviously show up at that exact moment, and he yells his office number so that she can know where he's at. And so, yeah, she does her little DoorDash revenge. That doesn't go well.
No, that bathroom scene is tense, I would
Yeah,
say, because he's just gonna kill her.
yeah. Still kind
And
of surprised he didn't, but
yeah, I was too. And no, I think Gary Oldman is really good in that scene. I think Natalie Portman is really good in that scene too. He does feel like he's a little bit unhinged and will do anything. He's basically gotten away with this kind of stuff before. Because I believe he told whenever I think he was talking to like internal affairs that one time and was just like he pulled the gun first. We had to shoot him. All the other people's collateral damage. Like
yeah, we're DEA.
so
We do what we want.
I'm sure he could figure out a way to make this happen. But she has like what was she gonna do? She had a bag full of guns. Just an insane amount of guns.
Sometimes that's all you need, man. It's a bag full of guns.
She's gonna shoot that one cop and then she's gonna get blown away. Like, no problem.
Worth it, man.
She's just not there yet. She's not good enough yet.
Well, yeah, because she's only had her rifle training.
That's very true too. She's cleaned some guns though.
Those guns in that bag are clean. You know
They
that.
are
for
very,
sure.
very clean.
He's very like sinister though, because he's like, oh, he asked. What I don't remember the exact quote, but he's like asking her if she is afraid to die or like enjoys life, and ultimately it like comes out it's like, oh, I'm so glad that you like your life because I don't like
That's one
taking
of the
people's life unless they appreciate it or something like
yeah.
that. It's just like,
That's one of my quotes. He asks her if she cares about living. And
yeah,
she says yes, and he says that's good because I take no pleasure in taking life if it's from a person who doesn't care about it. So that's pretty dastardly.
yeah. Even if he would, if he was saying that to like a grown ass adult, like that would still, you know, give me the heebies a little bit. But this is like kid, man, little girl. And
That's
he's
why
villain, man.
that's why I think that I disagree with one of the review where it was talking about like him going too above and beyond. Like he does have his like crazy moments where he, whether it's him screaming everyone or him doing the neck cracking thing and everything. It's like this really quiet moment in the bathroom where it's just him and just Natalie Portman. And he's just like, I am going to kill you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like you're done. So I think that's really
Do you think
good.
he let her live as like bait or like
To get I don't think so because
I just don't understand why like so
I think
the other guy comes in and is like, hey, one of our boys got killed by this pro, and then he just lets her live and tells them to take her upstairs instead of just killing her. I don't.
yeah. Well, maybe they were planning. I see what you're saying there, but maybe they were planning to do something else with her, like
After that, yeah,
like take her somewhere. We're not going to kill her in the police station. We got to take her somewhere and make sure she's never heard from again, kind of thing.
yeah.
Which she would be the easiest person to kill. It seems like
probably
nobody
weighs
knows she exists.
50 pounds.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was
know.
just a weird, like, yeah, I guess he had some sort of like other plan in mind because it was very sudden change. When I was thinking like, oh, now that you know one of his crew is dead and she's here with guns, like that's all the more reason he's just gonna shoot her on the spot. Like
Yeah.
one less thing to worry about. I need to go focus on this other thing now. So I don't know.
Something to think about. Chad, if you've seen the movie, let us know what your thoughts are. But Leon does come and just walks right in.
True assassin style.
I mean, that was pretty badass. Just goes through, knocks out the metal detector guy, walks right. I guess he just knows what office it is because he just walks right in and blows him away. And technically, he got the one that killed her brother, and she was in the room for it. Because the long-haired dude was the one that killed her brother.
Yeah.
It wasn't Stansfield.
That's what.
Do you think
Do you
Stansfield
think
would have?
She didn't know that though, did she?
Mm-mm.
She didn't know which one of them.
Mm-mm. I think she just associates it all with Stansfield.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Do you think that Stansfield would have killed the brother, the little boy, if he'd have just popped out?
If he would have popped out early enough, yeah.
Oh yeah, when he was walking down the
when he was in his Beethoven mode, but then he like was like, "Oh, I cooled down," like Beethoven. So now let's talk.
Yeah,
I don't know. He seemed very into like matching it with the music. So I don't know if the kid would have popped out in that moment. Probably not. I don't think he would have killed him.
Yeah, and because everybody got mad at the dude for shooting that kid.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I don't know. Up for interpretation.
Yeah.
So
we don't know the kid's name.
Yeah, we don't know the kid's name. You killed my brother. How do they know where he lives? Oh, it's because she sees him, or he sees her out at the supermarket or the bodega or whatever, getting groceries for him, and she takes him hostage. He takes her hostage, right?
Like when they show up for the final shootout
for the final thing, which I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your last scene.
Well, he went to Tony. He compared Tony and was like, "Your Italian hitman is causing me problems." So I'm assuming Tony, at least pointed him in the right direction.
Yeah,
and then he followed the girl from there.
Leads him right to him.
Tony's doing, man. I didn't like Tony.
I like Tony,
dude. Come on, man.
Why? Okay, why do you not?
He was withholding his money with that whole bullshit spiel about I'm better than the bank, man. He wasn't paying him.
Do you think that's so? I thought about that too. The fact that he wasn't paying him, is he just holding his money, or?
I mean, I'm sure some of it's there in actuality, but he's definitely taking advantage of him. And I think it was very clear when she came and he gave her $100. Yeah. He was like, it was just another opportunity to manipulate things. Like, oh, let's see how little I can give this girl.
I just feel like I don't know. Like, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. But I just feel like that's weird to add that like other villainous level to this. That we have Tony, this guy, just giving us I don't know.
I don't think he's like super villainous. I just don't like. I mean, he's typical like upper tier crime boss. Like,
right?
He's got the leverage to keep the people under his thumb. But I don't know. It's kind of like what it reminds me of. This is a pull from one of my recently watched Baby Driver.
Okay.
Kind of like Kevin Spacey in Baby Driver, how like he's just he's paying him, but he's keeping him under like with the leverage, like,
right.
And maybe even worse here because we don't ever see him actually giving him any money.
Yeah,
he's just holding.
But so I just interpreted, because she ends up going back to that private school. that
Right.
he's going to pay for her private school.
I mean, she was already paid up for a year.
That's true. She was paid up for a year, but I mean,
Why
how
was he
long
letting
does
her
that?
skip school if he had paid up front for a year? What's going on with him, man?
Insane. Like that whole her family situation. Yeah.
Wow.
Why is she even home if it's like a boarding school or whatever? Like, it was very confusing. But yeah, I don't know. You could lead a horse to water, I guess, but you can't make him drink. If she just kept like running away, they were probably like, "Well, we'll take his money, but she's not going to be here. She's not going to be here." I don't know.
if I paid, if I paid, if I had a kid and paid for a year of tuition, private schooling, and I'm at home and the kid's at home when they're supposed to be at school, we've got problems.
Well, you're not coked out of your mind, too.
True. Was he coked out of his mind?
I mean, sure he was.
I'm sure he was. Yeah. I don't ever. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we got off on a weird tangent. I'm sorry.
No. It's good. I like talking about Tony. I think he's a lot more interesting of a character than the few minutes that we get him. I like Danny Aiello though, like as an act. Like I like him.
Yeah, he
He's
did
usually
great.
the same. He's kind of usually the same person. He's kind of soft spoken when he wants to be, and then can blow up whenever he wants to be. I.e., watch Do the Right Thing, the Spike Lee movie. Danny Aiello is great in that movie. But I remember, I don't know. I do think that if they were like, I need $10,000 of my money, he would find a way, unless he
think
spent
so.
it on like the tracks or something like that. I don't know. I choose to
10K is only
believe,
like 2 kills though. We're talking 5K a kill, right?
yeah, 5K a kill.
How many did he kill?
Maybe he's like I mean, yeah, I don't
He's
know.
stacking.
He is stacking. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong. I just want to see the best in everybody.
Is 5K a kill too low?
I mean, I think
For
now
professional hitman?
for inflation reasons in
It's
2024, the year of our
10.5.
Lord.
It's 10.5K in today's money. Is that too low
Oh,
for a kill? I think that's too low, right? He's a bargain.
yeah, that does feel low. You're right. 10K a kill. It would take you 100 kills to get to 1 million, though.
Chat says
Yeah, I
it's
don't know what the
reasonable. I don't
market.
see it.
So Spencer says the market is 10.5 is reasonable. So he's done a few of these.
He knows.
He knows.
I just heard that number and I was like, that doesn't seem right.
It does seem low
For the pro?
But I wonder too. So if he's hitting like crime bosses or whatever we see in like the beginning of this movie, like I would want more because the heat's going to be on me more if they find out who I am. Like, and I have to do extra special stuff. Market says 13K, but 10.5 can get it done. I don't know how much to kill that bitch Carol Baskin.
Ooh, maybe the 5K is like the friends and family discount for the girl.
Maybe.
I didn't even think about that.
I can't remember how much Exotic Joe said that he paid to have her killed.
Oh, no.
Man, how many cops does it take to kill the professional? Because they send everyone.
I mean, we see at least like 30, 40 cops in that building.
Oh, maybe just more. In the stairwell is great. Like him walking down the stairwell and seeing every single cop there and like all the cops that are also outside. I saw something online that was talking about how Gary Oldman knew that guy was the hitman. Like he was already kind of suspicious of this person because he was wounded, and the guy never leaves anybody alive. So I saw something about that. Like he was suspicious seeing a cop that was wounded and didn't get killed because he's so good at what he does. He wouldn't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, yeah, I could see that, you know. But then he leaves because he's freaking terrified. Because he knows he's going to get killed.
Or did he just go to set the trap?
The trap where he just sits about. Not a very good trap. Shoot him in the head. You will have him right. You're right behind him. Just shoot him in the head.
Villains like to gloat, man.
I
You
know.
You know it.
He
It's
want,
their
especially
big
that
flaw.
guy. He want to do it, but there were some pretty cool kills in there.
Yeah, that was some fun action for sure. I like anytime he was like suspended from the
ceiling.
roof, I was into it.
Or yeah, that was awesome. I like when he's just in the doorway and just. Pew, pew, pew.
He did pull like the cheesiest like Hitman video game like way to get out of it though. It was like, did you ever play any of those Hitman games?
Yeah.
It's like you find a outfit laying around and you just put on the outfit and then you can go wherever you want.
You
Like
just walk
man,
out.
put on a gas mask and he was free.
No, and then he pulls the grenade trick there at the end.
Yeah. So that actually was something that was in one of like the bonus scenes as well. Where was it? Let's see. Oh, okay. So when they were doing like the whole like gum bolt cutter like sequence, showing that a bunch of times, they got to one wasn't a doorbell, so she was like, "What do I do?" Like threw off the routine. He was like, "Knock, you idiot," basically. So she knocks, does her normal thing, and he's like, the guy inside's like, 1 second, and like Leon grabs her to the side real quick, feeling like something's off. And like the guy starts shooting, spraying bullets through the door, all this. It was intense, crazy. Wish it would have been in the movie. But he takes one of the grenades off and throws it. I'm trying to think how he got it in the door. Oh, when he shot through the door, like of course, like a chunk was open.
Yeah.
So he threw a grenade in there and like held up the ring, like the piece that he pulled out, the ring or whatever, and he said that's called the ring trick. So that was like kind of the same thing he did at the end, like showing him the ring, which I thought was cool and wish that scene would
have been left in so that you get the
so
ring trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately.
That's a good point.
Ring trick.
Good point. And so, Leon kills Stansfield, says this is for Matilda, blows himself up. She goes back to school. The end.
Kids stay in school.
She does go to Tony and asks to be a cleaner, and he's like, "Are you kidding? You're 12 years old.
Here's $100. Go away."
Go away. $100 is a big time in a 12-year-old's mind. She probably thought that's like $1 million.
Not when she pulled $20K out of the floorboards.
Well, if she's got that $20K, she's fine.
She doesn't though.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's dead in the fire, or yeah,
in the explosion. Yeah,
somewhere.
That's all right. All right.
That plant took a beating though, right? Jeez.
Also, that plant is not surviving. That's part of my fun facts. But I'll go ahead and say it for all our plant.
Survived all the travel it did, would it?
For all the plant people out there, this is a tropical plant. It is called a Chinese evergreen. It cannot survive outdoors and in cold weather, and would die in the very first winter frost. So that plant is going to die.
She planted it outside, and it's dead instantly.
Yeah, I think we could have chosen something else, like a tree or something that he was raising. That way, like when she plants it in the earth, it's it gives it like setting down roots. What Leon tells her, like earlier.
That was supposed to be the point, right? Like
yes, that's the whole point. Putting down roots.
So was it intentional that plant like is dead when you give it roots? Like
no, just
is that just a secret little side note?
Oversight. I think it is just that she's a child and stupid, and doesn't do
She's
research
just a
on the
dumb
plant.
12-year-old.
She's just a dumb 12-year-old girl that's like, roots grow anywhere. You just got to water it. Leon, we'll be okay. And then the first time that this thing gets brown leaves and it's over for it. Like, that plant is dead. And
Idiot.
she'll forget about Leon in a few years. All right, let's talk about who was your favorite character in this movie?
I mean, I think I guess it was Leon. I didn't super have a great time with many of the characters. I mean, they were well acted, but I just didn't,
Yeah.
none of them like I was like rooting for really. So I guess we'll say Leon.
Okay. No, I like that. I said Stansfield or Matilda.
Oh,
I really liked Matilda, and not. We'll get there, guys. Just because, like, I think that I think Natalie Portman did a hell of a job with that character.
Yes.
She was playing it like she was a 12-year-old, and you could tell she was a 12-year-old, but she was also a 12-year-old that's been through some shit, and she was trying to be an adult in this and not be a kid. And I don't know. I just felt like she kind of nailed that character. And maybe that's more along the lines of Natalie Portman being a great actress at age 12, as opposed to this character being well written too. But I did feel like she was a really well written character, cringy at times and a little bit like, ugh, let's back away from that. But I thought she was good.
Yeah, she's definitely my best performance. No shade to Gary or Jean, but I mean, at her age, especially, and
first movie,
like, goodness, where did you come from?
And then you watch her be Queen Amidala, and you're like, what happened?
But then, like, Black.
But that's
Swan,
scripting. Yeah,
there she is.
yeah. But that's scripting. That it really is. Like I felt like, again, because when I watched this movie, I felt like this was a paternal relationship. I never felt like there was any kind of romantic thing beyond this movie when I first initially watched it. Now I've watched it with new eyes, and I'm like, ooh, that's a little crazy. But like, I did feel like her and Jean Reno had a good relationship together in the movie. Like, they had good chemistry.
Yes.
And he does it make it a point that he doesn't reciprocate any of the things that she tries to say or does say to him, and spits out his milk at one time because she says something so freaking shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Was that the I love you? All right.
Yeah. Oh God.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
Yeah. And then the part where she's like, I feel it in my stomach, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm glad you don't have a stomach ache anymore. Like, leave me the fuck alone, kid. I like that line. I'm glad you don't have a stomach ache anymore. I don't think it means anything. So,
I thought that was a pretty good response, but
yes,
I do think, like, and in the brief amount of research I did, which I'm sure you have some similar things, it felt like without Jean leaning into that so intentionally in his acting,
yeah,
it could have gone a different way to be
I
a lot
agree.
more like, which there's definitely still, like, she's got a very real, crush on him, and is doing some wildly inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think he does a pretty good job of not responding in any sort of like, I'm into that or affirmative. Even when he's like not denying it, at least he's like not like.
Yes, I agree. Again, this movie is very problematic, and we don't condone any of this from the director or the writer of this movie. Just making sure, Spencer, you fucking idiot.
We're just trying to talk about it.
Yeah, it's hard to navigate this movie. It really is. Like, yeah, this was a big shock when I watched it 20 years later. I was like, oh yeah,
yeah, you don't catch that stuff when you watch it younger.
When you're like around her age and you're watching, like for me, that's probably when I first watched. I was like 14 or 15. You don't think about it. You're just like, badass with a gun.
Yeah, I guess because I was a lot older when I watched it, but I just don't remember any of that. I just, remember like he's training this young girl to be a badass assassin. Like I didn't.
It's a
guess I
very
just
like,
didn't
yeah, I don't know.
catch all
It's
that.
very Lone Wolf and Cub, and that is that Shogun Assassin. If people, Tarantino references it all the time, but like it's based on these movies called Lone Wolf and Cub, about a assassin that adopts or has a young child thrust upon him, and he travels with him the whole time. It's very much that same genre. People didn't know at the time that this was a weird love story between the writer director and his future bride, which I'll talk about. But let's talk about favorite quotes before we get into that shit.
Into the fun
Because
stuff.
Spencer's driving me nuts right now. Give me a second. Yeah, go ahead. Give me some quotes that you really liked.
I didn't have too many. I'll start with one. So, okay. I'll say to anybody that watched the movie, if you have any interest in watching any of the scenes that were not on Netflix, look for Russian roulette, like Leon the Professional Russian roulette. I think that is Natalie Portman does some really great acting. There's some really great lines in that scene. It does have some definitely leans into some more like overt, like I'm in love with you kind of stuff, which I think is why it got pulled out. Or maybe just because it's very intense kid about to shoot themselves. But
I was about to say, did she put a gun up against her head?
What?
Does she put a gun up against her head? Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And pulls the trigger, but he I won't. We can spoil it. Who cares? He stops it, obviously, because the rest of the movie happens. But at one point in that turmoil, she says, I don't give a shit about sleeping, Leon. I want love or death. That's it. And I was just like, wow, this is a kid. Like, what? You can't be saying deep stuff like that. I know it's weird because you're talking about loving an old dude, but still, it's a great line. Let's see, what else? When the DA agents are digging into the food that she brought, and one of them says, "Be careful, man, it might be poison." The other one says, "No, there's no anchovies on this." I thought that was really funny. If anyone out there likes anchovies, we're not friends. But
I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. Of course, I don't like anchovies.
Pepperoni only, baby.
That's right.
Let's see. You go with some.
I like the first interaction with Matilda and Leon, where he sees her smoking the cigarette or whatever outside, and she's got the black eye. She says, "Is life always this hard, or is it just when you're a kid?" And Leon responds with, "Always like this." I love that interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early line too. Like, ooh.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you said Stansfield at some point says death is whimsical today. I like that one.
That was like right before he stopped shooting her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It was a good line.
Of course, I think probably the most famous part of this movie is when they're asking him.
I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, Stansfield's like, "Give me everyone, bring me everyone," and he says, "Everyone," and he screams, "Everyone!"
That was what I put as the title for that whole scene. Everyone.
So classic. It's great. They duplicate it in Community all the time. I didn't just masturbate here. I masturbate everywhere. Annie does it too. She does the "everyone" line a couple times. So
love it.
That's our Community love for the day.
Yeah.
Shout out. Let's see. What else? I said a couple of mine already. The stomach ache or whatever. We already talked about Stansfield saying, "I take no pleasure in taking life if it's from a person who doesn't care about it." What else you got?
There was like a whole block of stuff when Stansfield was talking about Beethoven, but I just grabbed like the first piece of that where he said, "I like these calm little moments before the storm. It reminds me of Beethoven," and he like expounded on that some, but I like
Yeah.
just that little piece.
It's pretty I don't I love that about the Stansfield character, like that he is this I don't know, calm, pretentious guy talking about classical music, and he uses that to fuel his murder tendencies. I don't like that's wild. And then he's also got this like weird pill addiction on the side too.
That's supposed to be a sedative, but
Yeah.
is it?
To calm him down. Like
Imagine
and
if
like
he didn't took it, didn't take it.
it's weird. Any other lines that we missed?
That's all I got for quotes.
I don't give a shit about sleeping. I want love or death. That's it.
Love that.
All right. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
I almost cried when she was like pleading with him to open the door, like
Ooh,
at the very
I mean,
beginning that
that's
we
a
talked
pretty
about.
impactful scene.
She was getting the heartstrings going there. She was like, yeah, very impressive for a kid.
Yes. When he leaves her, I think, like
Like
puts her in
down
the
when he
wall.
pushes her down the
Yeah.
after launching the plant down like how many stories?
Yeah. It's alive. It's fine. But yeah, when he leaves her and he's like, I'll meet you in an hour.
Yeah, everything will
And
be fine.
I'll meet you at Tony's in an hour. We'll be fine. Knowing full well he's not getting out of this. It's just too much.
Yeah, trying to spin it like he works better alone.
Yeah. I don't know. That was probably my cry moment. The thrill moment, I think, or scare too, is just that bathroom scene. And it does kind of lose a bit of its luster when you find out that he doesn't like that he just ends up taking her kind of hostage or whatever and takes her up to the office. So it kind of
Yeah,
does
but
lose a little
first
bit of
watch.
its.
Yeah, first watch for sure. It's like,
Yeah,
dang.
what's going to happen here? Yeah. Most what the fuck or ridiculous moment. I'm sure there are plenty.
So I did put like the way he like escaped down the stairs with the gas mask was probably like my biggest like, okay, well, how is this part of the script? But the other thing, and I couldn't find the actual song, but there's like a very like super sexual song that was playing. I think when she first started like living with him, and she was like, you know, doing the little household chores and all that. Then it was like it kept saying like, "Oh, I'm so aroused," in the lyrics and stuff like this while she was, and I was just like, I can't
Like
do this.
the beginning of the whole like game that they play too is very ridiculous and like
Oh yeah, I
like
forgot
overtly
about that.
sexualized of her, and I'm like, this I can't. This is very hard. Because she does like Madonna, and then she's Marilyn
Marilyn
Monroe
Monroe.
doing the Mr. President thing.
The Charlie
which fun-
Chaplin was good though. I
The
like
Charlie
that one.
Chaplin was good. The fun fact about the Marilyn Monroe scene is she had never seen anything Marilyn Monroe before, and she got that scene from Wayne's World, the movie, when Wayne is acting like Marilyn Monroe while his girlfriend's on the phone. So that's the only place she got that from. Which is very funny when you think about it.
That
Like that.
You know, any sort of like sexualization that was there after
It's
the
gone.
backstory, you know, Wayne's World.
Yeah, Wayne's World. That's a very fun. I want to see Leon explain this to Chris Hansen. That's good.
I was hoping that I was wishing that Leon would have done a few more to kind of like balance it out.
Yeah, but it's weird that he only knows Gene Kelly and John Wayne. Like, why would he know John? I would like. Why does he know John Wayne? I get the Gene Kelly thing. He loves the Gene Kelly films.
Right.
We see him watching the film earlier. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more and less of the what we did get from her. But we know she's a Madonna fan. She had a poster on her wall in the movie, so whatever. What about Matilda shooting the gun out of the window? Just all willy-nilly.
Wild and how is that a selling point? So like, hey, look at me, I can fire this gun. I'll be an
Yeah.
assassin. Like, what?
I'd be like, no, we're good.
I think I would have gone the other way, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're just firing out into the street.
Yeah, at buildings, like I know that. I mean, we're in New
So
York.
unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. That's the next movie, The Unprofessional. And
Matilda,
it's
the unprofessional.
that was my biggest one. That pissed me off so bad when I was watching this. I was like, what are you doing? Put the gun away.
It's a stupid kid moment again, you know? Like
Again.
I do appreciate that those were in there to like remind you, like, yeah, she's been through some shit, but she's just a dumb kid at the same time.
Yeah. Anything else ridiculous? I mean, there's a lot of ridiculous
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot, but I think we covered most of it.
Best music moment or score recognition?
Nothing really jumped out at me.
The only thing I'd like is the Gene Kelly scene from the movie that he's watching. It's Always Fair Weather. That song is called "I Like Myself." I like that.
I like
don't-
myself.
I Like Myself is the
I
name
like
of that.
myself.
Yeah. We will be skipping the next question because there's just
Oh.
nothing I want to talk about that.
I was hoping you were gonna. Never mind. Just
No,
kidding. Just kidding.
no, no. Best performance. Who do you got for best performance?
Natalie.
Yeah, I think
As I
Natalie
mentioned,
Portman stole it. Like,
I really do think Gary Oldman was very good, and Jean Reno was also very good, but she just killed it.
I liked, so in my fun facts, and maybe you have this too, but like I like that Jean Reno, he played Leon. He said he played him like a little mentally slow and emotionally repressed because he thought that would make like the audience relax and wasn't and make him feel like he wasn't going to take advantage of a vulnerable young girl. So
Yeah,
I think when we addressed that earlier, like the things that he did in response to Matilda, like kind of soured things about there being any overtly, relationship tones or whatever. So
yeah. It would. I mean, if you come into a movie like that where there's any potential for a relationship like that, and the dude or the older person, you immediately get a feeling like they're gonna take advantage of that type of situation. Like that's just not what you want. So
mhm.
I do appreciate that decision.
Yeah.
And my understanding was it was more his decision than actually
The director or
the
writer.
director. So,
Yeah, good for him.
so thank you.
Yeah. But no, yeah, Natalie Portman I think kills it, and I think we see Natalie Portman in more movies because of this role. She ends up being in a movie called Beautiful Girls where she's also amazing. That's also a very problematic movie with a weird relationship in it too. So she's kind of drawn to those. But then we get Natalie Portman in amazing things from here on out, and then she does Black Swan, and
She had a
she's
weird
awesome in
start,
that.
huh?
She did have a little bit of a weird start, but then 1997 rolls around, she starts filming Star Wars, so for it to come out in 99, so she's kind of set for a while. How would you change this movie?
I mean, I think there's some opportunity to definitely lean away from all the sexualization. I don't think that existed much with this particular director and writer from
Mhm.
their personal life experience.
Yeah.
Which it seems like a lot of that was drawn from. And a different person with a similar idea maybe could have done something better.
Yeah.
Or handled those. I think you can still do like a girl having a crush on an older guy.
I think you just
and
have
do
to
it
age her
way
up.
differently.
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said I still think you have to age her up.
Yes, that would
mentally.
be great.
Because I think that's besides the sexualization of a child that, again, can't say that that's wrong any more than we already have here. But like, even if you make her just older, yeah, like you're saying, like you could still have that crush or whatever, but it also like, I don't know, it,
the
I don't
fact that
know,
she's herself is
is
underage
well,
is
yes,
the primary problem. You know, a lot of times today, not a lot of times, but I think it's a lot more common today if somebody's playing like a kid and there's any sort of like weirdness, even if they're gonna like be kissing somebody or something, you're looking at like an actor or actress who is 18 or older
right,
playing a younger person,
yeah,
which I think is a great starting point.
hmm
um, but yeah, I think you gotta have like a pretty heavy rewrite.
yeah.
There are definitely a way more innocent and less problematic ways to portray like a younger person having a crush on an older person.
Well, and I mean, if we take the crush out of it, I think of movies like, or movies or television shows, like think about Stranger Things, for instance. She has that paternal relationship with Papa, uh, uh,
Yeah,
throughout
yeah, that's actually a really great example.
very similar thing. Like that works. Do that,
Yeah.
and make that. Or Hannah. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hannah,
Mm,
but there is a very like that. I think it actually is her father in that one. But Hannah, with Saoirse Ronan, one of her earlier movies, she's kind of a hitman esque person. And she's been trained her whole life by her dad. But even if you think about movies like Leave No Trace, like again, that is a father-daughter thing. So
yeah,
maybe if we just switch it and make it a father-daughter scenario, it's um, solved right then
just
and there.
fully lean into the paternal, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
just
think
take all
that's
the rest out.
fully it.
I think that would be the best solution. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like she is living with somebody else because her dad's a hitman and he can't have her in her life, and then her family gets killed or involved in some crime, and then she has to find her father who is this person. Like we just
Could he
wrote the
still live
movie.
next door, or would that be
Yeah,
too
but
obvious?
it might be too
I
obvious,
don't know.
but
I don't know.
maybe he could keep an eye on her that
We'll
way.
workshop it. Yeah.
We'll
I mean,
workshop it. All
he
right.
does good people work. We saw that. The door. I'm talking about the door when he's looking out the people of his door. For all you weirdos out there, you might take that a
being
different way.
being her uncle would be worse. Unless like a Godfather kind of thing. Godfather? Part
Yeah.
4?
Yeah, I think just the different different person behind it at the
Yeah.
home would have solved
I'm just saying
probably every problem.
this situation has been done better and since, and um we don't have to worry about like any Lolita comparisons or anything like that afterward. So
Yeah.
this has been done. Speaking of that and how we would recreate it, how would you recast this movie?
I didn't have anything for 94. Did you?
I just put in like I was trying again to like age Matilda up a little bit, and so I was trying to think of like older actors from that time that you could maybe age down or like right around like 18, 19, something in there. So I was like Winona Ryder, Uma Thurman, Carla Gugino, people like that you could age down maybe. Um, I
Yeah,
thought that
Winona is kind of a similar. She looks fairly similar
yeah.
to Natalie Portman too, like
Now I was like, oh, I should have put Jenna Ortega in the 2024s.
in 2024. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good choice.
that would have been a good one.
She just did
Um,
like didn't she do a controversial
yeah,
like
she did with
young old
Martin
movie?
Freeman. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Um, I put
Pairing?
Mal I put Malkovich as Stansfield. John Malkovich as Stansfield.
Hmm.
Would have been interesting. Also, do you know the actor Gabriel Byrne?
I don't think so.
He's in a movie in the 80s called Miller's Crossing, which is a Coen Brothers film. And he's really good in that. And I think he's a hitman in that movie too. He's an Irish actor, but he kind of has that like paternal thing to him too.
Okay.
So I liked him as like maybe for Leon. Leon doesn't have to be a French guy. Leon can be anybody. I thought of Ron Perlman too, like the guy that plays Hellboy.
Yeah.
That was good for '94. They would have been around there. Yeah, it would have been good. I was
Not
just
for
trying to.
what I
I've been
did.
watching. I've been watching a lot of Buffy recently, and there is that like she has like a watcher over her, and again, it's a very like father relationship that she had, and even though he's not her father. So I'm just like, this has been done so well many other places. Why? And I know why it did happen the way it did, but
Yeah, we do know why.
still. But what about you? Do you have anybody for '94?
Just got one for 94. I'm fairly confident that I just kind of did it mainly because of the hype around the new Alien movie coming out. Kaylee Spaney, I seemed like she's I don't know how old she is specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm pretty sure she's 20s
Yeah, I think
and
she
could play
is.
like she's kind of like more petite, so she kind of could look younger, I
Yeah,
guess.
I think she's young. She's 25. I just looked her up. She
Yeah.
was in
Okay.
the Elvis movie, Priscilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so that's who I had for what's her name, Matilda.
Matilda. Yeah.
I didn't recast anybody else.
I went with a French actor for Leon, Vincent Cassel. You've seen him before in something. Most of you probably have, but I think he would probably be a good. He was in Black Swan. He's the director, I think, of Black Swan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Italian Job or not
Yes,
Italian Job?
yes. Ocean's
Oceans.
12.
Oceans.
Ocean's
There it
12.
is.
Yep. Sorry, I agreed with you too quick, but I knew where you were at.
Yeah.
You were in Europe. Jake Gyllenhaal is Stansfield
Ooh,
because he
he's
kind of
always
likes
got some
those.
crazy energy on
Yeah.
reserve.
After watching Nightcrawler, I'm like, these are the only movies I want to see this guy in. It's just getting as crazy as possible. And then for Matilda, I aged her up again. Amandla Stenberg. She's the one. She played Rue in Hunger Games. She was in The Hate You Give. I think she's just in.
Oh
What
yeah,
is she?
yeah.
She's in some. Oh, she's in that new Star Wars show. The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like the main person in that movie. She was also in Bodies.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, so I think she would be good. She'd be a little badass, is what I'm saying.
She would be, and that kind of casting, you could actually turn it into like more of like training a young assassin versus like a weird love story.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah,
I've never seen Columbiana. Have you ever seen
I
Columbiana?
have. That was one of my pairings.
Okay. Sorry
so
to ruin that.
that's okay. Segue.
But yeah, like I just feel like that's what we wanted more is let's just see this person become a little badass and then let her go on some hits. Like Kill Bill 3, you know? I want to see the girl get trained to become a badass assassin and come back and kill Uma Thurman. Like that's what I want.
Is it ever gonna happen?
No, never. Because Quentin Tarantino doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's afraid he's going to go out on a stinker, and I don't blame
It
him.
might be done after he's dead, though.
Maybe.
You think?
Fun fact about Natalie Portman: she has Cincinnati ties. Her mother lives here, and her grandmother too, I believe. Okay.
Ooh.
What up, Natalie? I'll tell her, hey, you were great in this movie, but it's a weird one. And that's what I would say to her.
And she would say, I know.
I know. And she would, because I'm pretty sure that's all she said.
Yeah.
The body count in this movie, I think Spencer asked for it earlier. There are 34 is what the body count was.
Whoa.
Does that seem low?
That seems so low.
We get like a bunch of people that die at the beginning.
Yeah, I
in
guess
that
there's
first
not
hit.
as much like thinking back, there's not as much like actual assassinations
Yeah,
as you
we
would think.
probably get like 20 or so, at 20, probably a little over 20 at the end of people that get killed.
Okay.
That's what I'm guessing.
Ooh, that all those 6 grenades though, that's killing a lot of people.
Yeah. Innocent people?
Probably. That I mean,
Probably.
that's taking the building down.
Yeah. We don't know though. These are 34 known
34
kills.
confirmed. Right, right, right. Sorry.
34 confirmed kills.
With an
Okay.
infinite amount of possibilities from there.
Okay, so here's the problem, and here's the research that we did. According to the actress Maiwen, part of the film is based on her romantic relationship with the writer-director Luc Besson. She's actually in the movie. She's 16-year-old. She's 16 years old in the movie. She's the girl at the beginning, the very beginning, the first hit that he goes on. That is his wife and mother of his child at that point when she is in this movie. At 16. This is the problem. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. They met. She was 11 and he was 29. And they started dating, or it says they started dating when she was 15 and he was 32. Problem. Big problem. But that's on the commentary, I think. I think that's on director commentary, or she was on the commentary for this movie and came out and said that. Weird. Wild. The code that Leon gives Matilda to knock on the door when she returns from getting milk is 2 knocks, then 1, then 2 knocks again. 212 is the telephone area code for Manhattan, which is where the story takes place. Coincidence, probably?
No, not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
What's the 321? The fake one that you gave him.
It's
What area
321.
code is that? I think, right?
Yeah, it's 321. That's not an actual area code. I think she just made that up.
I don't know. I thought maybe there was more Easter egg.
That is Florida,
Ooh.
the Space Coast region.
Okay, no Easter
in
egg.
Seminole County. So
bummer.
Sorry.
I was hoping it was going to be like, I don't know what I was hoping.
France.
Is that France's country code?
That's France's country code. 312 or 321. During the filming involving all the police cars on the street, a man ran from a store that he had just robbed. When he encountered the movie set, he saw all of the police and gave himself up to a bunch of uninformed extras.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Worst criminal in history.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other two I had were about the pills that he was taking and the potted plant dying. What else? Did you have anything else?
I did not do any substantial fun fact research this time. I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm glad more than anything that you knew about the pills, because that was tripping me out.
Librium. Yeah, I feel like I need to do more research on that and see what it really does, because
it seemed like the way he would like turn away from the camera and like drive.
I thought he was turning into a monster.
Yeah, that's what it seemed. It seemed like some sort of like fantastical, like this guy is an actual like creature that these pills are keeping him in human form or something.
Yeah, it was weird. It's a
Turns
weird
out
choice.
He was just a recovering drug addict.
Yeah. He's on coke all the time and he can't do it all the time, so. All right. Like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
Well, we already mentioned mine several times. I just said Colombiana.
Colombiana?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all I came up with.
I came up with 2 others that I haven't mentioned. One I think is a really, really great movie. I think these are both great movies, but one is a great movie called Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. Yeah. Great movie. And it has that, like, again, that a little bit of relationship in it between, the protagonist and the, young person in there. It is about like hitman, assassin, samurai assassin. But Forrest Whitaker's the main guy in it. I think it's on Max. I do recommend it to everybody. I think it's a Jim Jarmusch movie. It's great. It is really great. And then the other one I thought of was Django Unchained.
Oh. Yeah,
because
true
it's a
buddy cop, but like,
yeah.
yeah,
He like teaches him how to become an assassin
yeah,
and kill
apprentice.
people.
Yeah, I like that,
Yeah,
and also kind of questionable, weird stuff with the director. So
yeah.
it
What a
it fits
weirdo.
really well. That would be a
I had
fine pairing.
I had Hannah written down as well. Like I said, that is I think they even
Who
made that into a TV show.
who plays the girl in Hannah?
Saoirse
I've got.
Ronan.
Did you already mention that? And
I
it
did.
just went right over my head. I'm sorry.
It
Okay.
did.
I I've got some sort of other like thumbnail in my brain. I don't think it's her, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I
I
think
don't know
there's
what
a
her name is.
movie that I think was on Amazon or a TV show that was on Amazon,
Also called
based around
Hannah?
also called. It's the same thing, same premise,
Oh,
same
okay. Maybe
everything.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Um, and I don't know what that girl's name is, but
Okay.
yeah, Saoirse
Anyways.
Ronan's in the other one. I like that movie. That is a father that raises their daughter in the woods and teaches her how to be a badass.
Leave No Trace actually that you mentioned would be a pretty good pairing, I guess.
You love Leave No Trace. That's
I
one of
do
your
love Leave
favorites.
No Trace.
That's a good movie. I'm glad I ended up watching that on your recommendation. So Ben Foster needs to do more movies.
He does, man. I like him
I
a
love
lot.
Ben Foster. Another guy that would be a really good crazy person. He'd be a good Stansfield.
He's played some. I think he's done a couple crazy roles, hasn't he?
In 310 to Yuma, he's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a crazy in that movie. And then what is it? 40 Days of Night. He's crazy in that movie too. Let's all just watch a bunch of Ben Foster movies, please. All right. If you gave this movie a rewatchability rating out of 5, what would you give it?
It's low for me. The acting is really good, but I think it's because of the problems. I would probably put it at like a 1.5. I
Yeah,
don't think it's something that I would revisit often.
I think I'm with you on that one. Like, yeah, I'm glad I watched it. Because now I
Especially yeah.
know, and now I don't have to worry about like saying to people, "Oh my god, this movie's incredible! You all need to watch it." And then
You don't
them
have to
come
worry
back and
about
be like,
putting on TikTok, "Oh, Leon the Professional is my favorite movie of '94."
"Yeah, no, I don't have to worry about that." Overall star rating though, what'd you give it?
2.5.
Oh wow, 2.5. I gave it a 3.5. I still think it's really well done. I hate the problematic stuff to it. I think that could be fixed very easily, but I think like the action set pieces and stuff are really good. And Natalie Portman and like the three main actors just are killing it here. So
Yeah.
I don't blame you. You're gonna come off way better than I am for giving it such a
No,
low
no,
score, but
we'll talk about something else
okay.
off camera sometime. I just want to pick your brain about something.
Okay.
But anyways, I
Well,
think that's completely legitimate. With something that we didn't even say at all is like stylistically, the movie is like very well shot.
oh yeah.
I think just like pure cinema, like there's a lot of really cool stuff in there.
I think it's interesting too, talking about this movie and having seen like The Fifth Element before. Like The Fifth Element is so crazy and frenetic and like just out there. And this movie doesn't feel like that. It's very like it feels much more quiet, but it does feel like stylistically it's better. And I prefer this movie to Fifth Element, although Fifth
So
Element's
much, it's too wild, grab bag, like everything.
yeah. People actually perform in this movie as opposed to the Fifth Element where it's just people. I don't even know. Like Chris Tucker's the best part of that movie. And he's just being Chris Tucker, but it's still great.
Just being Chris Tucker. Yeah.
Well, we can end this. We can end this for everybody now. But Joseph, thank you for doing this one with me. I know we were both excited to talk about this movie, and then ended up not being as excited as we thought we were going to be to talk about this movie. But have you watched anything lately that you want to talk about, or that you think people should see?
I will throw out a few previous recommendations from yourself and others that I've watched recently. Uh, Particularly When Evil Lurks, which I think was you. I
Yeah.
went and watched that. I thought it was very good. Um, there was also a movie called The Greasy Strangler, which some people had recommended that was interesting. It was worth watching. I'll leave it at that. But some other stuff I've seen, I got caught up on a few of the animated nominations from this past Oscar season. Finally
Mhm.
watched Nimona, which I really enjoyed, and I finally got to see Robot Dreams. Um, I just tracked down a theater that was playing it in Nashville when I was there last, and that's probably one of my favorite movies that I've seen in like the past 2 or 3 years. So very wholesome and
What won? Boy and the
wonderfully
Heron?
drawn. Yes,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Boy and the Heron one. But the only other thing that I watched recently that I is a kind of a comfort, and which I already mentioned, Baby Driver. That's one of mine that I watch pretty regularly every couple of
Oh.
years.
I like that. I love that movie. Not without its problems.
True.
Two of the main actors in that movie are considered not great guys, which is unfortunate because that movie is awesome. That movie's incredible.
Baby.
But baby.
A lot of cool. I don't usually appreciate driving that much, like in movies, like chase scenes and stuff. But that's one that stand out for sure in that department.
No. Baby Driver's incredible. The only ones that I could recommend that I've watched lately, Muppet Treasure Island. Just watch that again. It's incredible. It's a masterpiece. Everybody should watch. But no, speaking of Hitman, I watched Hitman on Netflix, and I really like that Richard Linklater film, based around a true story. Not completely true in this movie, but very unique spin on the Hitman genre. A little bit more realistic in how it portrays the Hitman thing. I really liked it. And that movie, I feel like I've seen a lot of people either just don't get it or hate it, like can't even sit through it, or they really like it. I thought it was very sweet, and like I liked that movie a lot. And I love
Richard Linklater, though.
I love Richard Linklater. You're 100% right, but I also love Glenn Powell. Like I think that guy is awesome. I haven't seen Anyone But You yet, but I'm sure it's terrible.
Was that the one with Sweeney?
Sydney Sweeney in it.
Yeah, it didn't look very good.
but Glenn Powell's charming as hell, and like I think that movie's really good. So I do recommend it. It's on Netflix, and it's related to the Hitman genre that we're talking about. Probably not a good pairing, though.
Probably not. But I bet you're super excited to see the new Twisters movie then, huh?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm in on Twisters, baby. I'm in. If they didn't cast Philip Seymour Hoffman's son to be in that movie, I'm not going to watch it, though. They should have done that.
I don't
Fan
think
service,
that,
please.
Though, did they?
They didn't. Yeah, I also watched Madam Web, and that is a piece of dog doo-doo. That movie's bad.
I told you.
I know. I had to see it, though. It took me 3 days to watch it.
Sometimes you have to see it.
Sometimes you have to see it for yourself. Same thing with Morbius. I had to see it for myself. But it took me 3 days to watch Madam Web.
Ooh, which one's worse, Morbius or Madam Web?
Madam Web.
Okay, I think so too.
Madam Web, 100%. Yeah. I just think there were more bad actors and so much more ADR. And like forcing words into the mouth. I don't know if you noticed that when you watched it. Like he is saying things and it is not matching what he's saying at all. It's bad.
Almost like he was speaking a different language and it was supposed to be subtitles originally or something. And they just scrapped that. And then
they just scrapped it and we're like, okay, here's your voice now. No, that movie's bad. Bad CGI. I saw it, and this is not an original thing that I've ever said. It looks like AI made a movie. And that's what we got, was this Madam Web movie. So
I feel bad. I like Dakota.
Yeah, I like Dakota too, but I honestly I would love to talk to you about it off stream about Dakota, and like what is her acting ability? Because I love Dakota, and I mean, she's very charming to me, and I like her in certain roles, but I don't know if she can do anything
She
bigger.
just doesn't care what her roles are, I don't think.
There's a lot of apathy in her, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough of our movie takes and enough of us, I think, as we leave this awkward movie on an awkward note. But next week, we're going to be doing another action movie, maybe one that some of you have seen, but probably not a lot of you have seen, called The River Wild. Stars not our girl, Meryl Streep, big time Oscar nominee and winner, Meryl. Kevin Bacon's in this movie. It takes place whitewater rafting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere for free. It is available in VOD, though. So or wherever you can find it if you want to. So we're going to do that next week. I think we're going to be meeting at the same time on that Sunday, June 30th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So be here and we'll see you then. Sound good? Are you going to be there?
I'm gonna be there, man.
That's all I can ask for. If Joe's here, that we're doing it. So it doesn't matter. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one. Thanks for joining in for 50.